everyone, my name is Roya, and I already read 9 books in the first half of October, so in the interest of keeping this video as short as possible, I'm going to talk about these books as quickly as I can. So the first book I'm going to talk about is Wrath Becomes Her by Aiden Polydoros. This is about a girl who is actually a golem made in the image of a Jewish girl who was killed by Nazis in order to get revenge on the Nazis who killed her. This was a really good book. I do have a full review of it, so you can check that out if you want to hear about more about this book. Season of Storms, the first book, or rather like book 0 in the Witcher series. It was also really good. I think I might actually continue with this series. Heir to the Shadows by Anne Bishop. This is the second book in the Black Jewels series. I'm still not so sure about this series. I've heard a lot of really good things about it. I feel like maybe 2 books is just not enough to really get into it, but I mean, I did enjoy this one a little bit more than the first one. It did, however, take forever to get good. I did, however, enjoy the fact that, you know, the characters have a bit more of a dynamic in this one, and the main character is possibly asexual and such, and so that's also really interesting to me as well. But yeah, so basically this book took forever. Like, more than half of the book was just kind of meh, and it was just people talking, and I was really bored. But then like the maybe latter third or fourth of the book was suddenly really good and made me kind of want to read more. So we'll see what happens there. City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab. This is a middle grade book about a girl who had a near-death experience and was saved by a ghost. So now she and the ghost boy are connected. Like, she can kind of cross into the ghost realm and kind of beyond the veil. And yeah, and he is not 110% dead anymore. So basically, like, in this particular, so this is a series, I believe. Like, there's at least one more book in this series. I'm not sure if there were ever any more, but this particular book is about her having to get her thread of life back from this ghost who took it so that she can bring herself back to life, basically. And it's just insane. So I didn't love this book, but I think that I'm not a big fan of Victoria Schwab's YA in general. For some reason, I've enjoyed her adult books a lot more. But this was actually a lot better, maybe because it's middle grade, I don't know. But again, I didn't love it, but it was still a really good read for what it was, and, you know, I would recommend it. This One Summer by Jillian Tamaki and Mariko Tamaki. This is about 2 girls who have always vacationed at the same kind of cabin place since they were young, and they basically like only see each other there. So this time they go there and they realize that they're kind of growing up and they're not as into the same things anymore. And one of them is a year older than the other one, so it's like that's suddenly a big difference now. And so I thought that this book was really interesting, and it was really kind of adorable, and it kind of showed like the reality of what kind of goes on with friendships a lot of the time. I did, however, feel like there was just something missing. I don't know. Hidden Figures by Margot Lee Shetterly. This is a nonfiction about different Black women who worked at NASA during the space race. And I read this for Banned Books Week, and I'd been meaning to read it for a while, but it seemed like the perfect time to do it. And it is just insane. It really made me think about just how weird it is that certain books were banned. Like, you know, you can deny all you want that like marginalized communities are being targeted, but they really are, when literally a book that is a nonfiction just about like female Black mathematicians is banned. Like, and there's nothing, you know, like, Oh my god, it's so silly. But anyway, so this book was really good. It was really informative. I really enjoyed reading it. I did feel like there wasn't, I guess since it was a nonfiction as well, there's not as much to it. There's not like as much story. We don't really get to know as much about the individual women as I would have liked to. But I did think that this was a really good book. A Marvelous Light by Freya Marsk. This is basically a kind of fantasy of manners about these two men who fall in love in a world in which they it's kind of based on like the olden days in England, basically, where homosexuality is illegal. And I felt like, I liked kind of the whole idea of this book and everything, but I felt like it was so like there was just a lot missing. It was so told at a distance. I was really bored reading it, which was such a bummer because it sounds really good. Exit West by Mohsin Hamid. This is about two people who live in a war-torn country in West Asia, and they don't even say what country that this is actually based off of either. And they discover a door that then leads them out of the area, and they go to California and all of that. So the idea, again, this was another book where the idea of it was so much better than the actual book turned out to be, and I was a little sad by that. I really liked the whole idea of this book, but I also just can't really get behind books where it doesn't say what country it actually is, and I feel like that happens all too often with books that are based on a West Asian country. This is certainly not the first time I've seen this, where they just don't say what country it is, and I'm kind of like, why do we not get to know what country it is? I don't know. But I felt like this book was really short, and we really did not get the character depth or the depth to the story at all, which was kind of a bummer. I really wanted more out of this book. And finally Seen by Kelly Yang. This is possibly one of the best books I've read all year. This is a middle grade about a girl from China who finally gets to join her parents and little sister in the US. She's been living in China with her grandma for a while, and her parents went to the US. They took her little sister because at the time her little sister was like really young, like 2. And so now our main character is 13. She goes to the US to finally join her family. She misses her grandma, but she's like really glad to be back with her parents. And she's having to like navigate a new, a school and everything in a new country, and people treat her like she's different. She makes one friend, but basically like there are a lot of mean people in her class, and it's like hard to kind of get everything to feel at home in a new country. And then at the same time, like her parents are really struggling a lot more than she necessarily, they really had not, they had really hidden a lot of it from her in their letters to her. And so she's shocked to see that her mom is like really trying to sell bath bombs on Etsy because that's how they're making most of their money, basically. Because her dad works on an organic farm and really does not get paid enough. And then, of course, they don't have their green card. And, as soon as they even mentioned they had applied for a green card, I knew exactly where this was going. And, of course, that does not have a happy ending. Like, I knew, like, a mile away, like, that's not, like, yeah. And so the main character of our story ends up, reading really great books. A lot of them are about people from China and by Asian American authors, and they really resonate with her, and she starts to finally feel at home in the US. And then this mother comes along and tries to get this book that the whole class really likes by a Chinese American author banned from their school. And so So of course, all the parents and all the kids have to go to the board meeting and say, hey, this is why we like this book, blah, 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 blah. And so our main character has to do whatever she can to get that book to not be banned and for her class to continue to be able to read it. And it's just so, it's just so fascinating that I read this because it was Banned Books Week, and this is a banned book, and it's about book banning. And it really shows, like, this book actually made me cry. It really shows how important it is to not ban books and to help people feel represented when they read about people like them in schools. So yeah, this whole book was amazing from start to finish. I could barely put it down. So anyway, those are the books that I read in the first half of October. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you've read any of these, have any thoughts on them, any of that in the comments down below, and I will see you very soon with a new video. Bye!